Hey YouTube, what's good and welcome back to yet another video. Ryan from Jonga here, and yeah, where have I been? No videos for a month apart from Brian's virtual world deck that he just has been ravaging locals with. A good call by him. That deck really popped off and dominated the latest LCS. Well, Melbourne, Australia, we've been out of lockdown and life is back to normal, so that means I'm back at work full time, so I have less time to build decks and show cool stuff. But I have played some locals since they're back at a limited capacity with social distancing. But I have had to meta sheep for a while, and I don't really like to be a meta sheep, but unfortunately I don't really have a choice because I can't really work on any special decks or cool combos. So that being said, I've played a bit of Zoodiac, and I've played a bit of Dragon Link, and I've played a bit of Dogma Zoodiac, which will be the deck profile of today. So the time I played Pure Zoo, I went, X1, top 4, and then Dogma Zoo again, X1, top 4. Both times losing pretty unfortunately close games that could have definitely been winnable, so I think Zoodiac is a really, really, really strong deck moving into the new format, and of course let's analyze why. So this is my top 4 locals Dogmatika Zoo deck profile. So I guess the theme of this deck is that I wanted to try out a lot of stuff, and then disclaimer, the build is not perfect, or is it the best? And yes, we get to play OCG cards at our locals because we're cool, no one cheats, and we're all honorable. So let's get right into it. So of course, zoo cards. 3 Thoroughblade, 3 Whiptail, 3 Ram, and a Rat Pier. You usually play the same 14 zoo monsters in your deck every time you play zoo because they're so essential to start with, because just one zoo card can do so much, especially now with Zeus in the game. So playing Dogma, 3 Ecclesia, 2 Maximus. So of course, I think there's definitely home in this deck for Maximus, but we're playing Fleur instead. 2 Fleur, no Maximus, just for the extra deck space. But definitely been thinking of Maximus. Definitely been thinking of Shadows and Schism as well, but that seems a bit greedy. These guys are just beaters. They're just so good as beat sticks. Like, I never realized, how useful these cards are for their attack damage. I felt like my Exceed plays were getting stopped a lot, but I could keep going because I had some good Dogma beaters. And of course, Nadir Servant is a god card. And so, Hands of Tenki, Nadir Servant, Pot of Desires are so powerful. They can't stop everything. But anyway, into the hand traps, 2 Ash, 2 Vela, and 2 Nibiru. Well, shout out to these insane gold rares. Aren't they so obnoxious? Absolutely insane. I kind of want to play a deck with as many gold rares as I can because these are ridiculous. And I mean, they are thick, but tournament update, we can double sleeve, so that will hopefully reduce the chance of getting cheated. But what if they're all gold? How are you going to cheat if they're all gold? Or just pile shuffle effectively and, randomize your deck effectively. So we're playing 2 other hand traps because Zoo is like, you need the versatility, mid-range, lots of different options. And then, because this is actually a go second deck, I forgot to mention, go second, because there's lots of advantages for Zoo to go second, especially Dogma Zoo, with Servant sending Entis, and access to Zeus, and playing cards like Alpha, Beast King. Oh, in English it's Alpha, the Master of Beasts. Shout out to our Starlight Alpha that we pulled recently to, go with this channel, add to our friends of Effect Vela, and Pancratops, of course. This card feels like a god card again. It feels so good. Makes me wonder why we never played 3. We only ever played 1 or 2 in our sides. It kind of feels like should have always been playing 3, but yeah, this card is sick. It's really versatile in what it does. And I'm thinking of building a level 8 Gizmek Kaiju Luna strategy, because I realized some combos and interactions, so maybe stay tuned for that if I ever get around to building it. But it's pretty low on my list of priorities of decks I want to build right now. So honestly, you get a good wide option of cards, go second. You side into the third copies of the hand traps that you might need, are just based on your local meta and what everyone's playing around you. So of course, Barrage, 3 Tenki, very self-explanatory. 3 Nadir Servant, yep, so good. And then, 1 Duster and 1 Call with a Grave and 1 Monster Reborn. Just the limited spell cards. We go second. You draw them sometimes when you need them. But honestly, there's a lot of hand traps going around and your cards need to resolve. I think Call by the Grave is really damn good. And then, Feather Dust is just good to have as versatility in your main deck. But Monster Reborn, the Hyper Extender. This card is so good because, Zoodiacs are so reliant on your normal summon. If they get stopped in any way, it feels like you're not playing sometimes. Cards like Monster Reborn really help you to do that. And then to a lesser extent, you could play like Living Fossil. Or Shuffle Reborn. Sometimes Zoo needs those extenders, but I guess in this deck, cards like Nadir Servant act as those extenders for you. So you really want high impact cards that allow you to keep playing your Zoo creatures. And who knows, maybe we'll play Lance again, maybe we'll play My Body again, because mirrors are becoming more prevalent. Well, who knows? So I am a bit of an evil person. I only play 2 Desires. I don't like playing 3 in a lot of decks, but that is strictly wrong. Playing 3, if you can play 3, you definitely play 3, but just how I feel, I like to play 2. Sorry guys. I was testing out Pot of Avarice, controversial card because it's really nuts in the grind game. If you assume a grind game even exists, you should win decisively before you even reach a grind game state, but so far it's been kind of underwhelming, so maybe I'm going to cut it. Oh yeah, this is a 43 card deck, by the way. But again, the theme of I was testing a lot of cards, because when I played Pure Zoo, I played all these one-offs just to get a wide idea of how the format felt, how the game felt again, being away from so long, and I found that, cards like Avarice were pretty good. Now, I don't think it's that needed. It's pretty average, but we shall see. I was playing Tactics Talent. Again, similar notion to you need cards to keep playing if you get hand trapped on your 1 Zoo creature or your 1 play. This card is so good in the mirror match because they Trident you and then you take their Trident and then you keep playing. Overall, performed incredibly for me every time I drew it, but again, it's Zoo. You don't really need it. It's not a combo deck, but who knows. And then I played some traps. Of course, I played some Punishment. But Ice Dragon's Prison. So these are the only traps I main decked, because I feel like this card works even if you draw it into established fields, which obviously it does. But guys, this is a god card. I can't express enough. This is an extender. It's control. It's everything you want. You can just take your enemy monster and don't do anything with it. It's all optional, which is nuts. Take Zoo cards in mirror. Keep going. Ridiculous and good for so many meta decks. It's good for so many meta decks. Highly underrated card, and honestly, I've lost my 3rd copy. I don't know where my 3rd copy is. Very sad. Need to find that. Anyway, that's the main deck. 43 cards. Bit of a meta sheep deck, but it's so strong. Because when we get into the extra deck, Trident, Jack, Tiger, Bow, Hammer Kong. I think you can play 3 Chak, but then again, that's assuming that the grind game exists. I think the other ratios are pretty damn good. You play the Drill Driver Vespi, that's fine, but I like to play Double Zeus. I feel like it comes up more than what it should. This card is ridiculous. Playing the game again after so long, being outside of locals, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Getting back into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Man, you can have your 1 Zoo creature and 4 miscellaneous cards in the entire game just to break the one situation, and you break it, then you make this with 6 material underneath it, and it's just how does your opponent win in those simplified game states? They don't. It's really hard for them to win. And of course, Mega Clops is also a big part of that problem because some decks just cannot deal with it. And this card generates so much advantage every single turn, and it's so easy to do off 1 card combos with Ram and such. And then the last 3 cards are the 3 cards for the Nadir Servant and the Punishment, 2 Entis and the Titanic Lad. This card's been pretty average. This is where I think maybe I play that Skull Knight, Fossil King, or Wind Adagnista, or even a Cypher Emerald Omega, perhaps. But needs more testing to determine what this card slot should be. I don't really know. There's lots of options. But anyway, on to the side deck that I use. But again, I preach, guys, build your own side decks based on the meta and the locals that you are at of the particular tournament. Probably will need to adjust due to the increased popularity of Virtual World, but the one that I used, so I use more 2-off hand traps, so you know, double Droll and double Ghost Ogre, because I feel like there are some matchups where these can be more impactful than Ash or Veiler. You know, when you just need a card that says no to their entire turn, Droll is for you. Ogre has good applications in the mirror match and such. Pretty damn nice. You know, third Ash, third Alpha, so good. This can be third Nibiru, or I played a third Talons just because my locals had a lot of Zoodiac. And then back row killers, 2 Cosmic, maybe you might need a third. Very popular. I mean, lots of powerful spells and traps going around. And then just in case I needed to fake my opponent or they want to make me go first, we got some normal traps. Deep Prison, Torrential, Solemn Judgment. Could be Trap Trick, could be Compulse, could be a third Frost Dragon's Prison. Could be a lot of stuff, even, you know, maybe Warning Point, who knows, but I just chose these based on my locals and my experiences, and that there's lots of mirror matches going around, and also a lot of decks that Dimensional Barrier would do well again. Some Infernoble, and you know, this is actually quite good against Virtual World too. If you can maybe cut off one of their summoning mechanics, it might be enough to win you the game. Anyway, that does it for the Zoodiac deck profile, guys. Again, different content than usual, nothing cool, no crazy combos here, but believe me, I'm trying to work on it. Just working full time can be difficult because sometimes working out those combos can take me some time, and that's probably time I don't have or better spent doing something else, like, you know, looking after my health and keeping it going. But, you know, still playing, still going strong, still got heaps of ideas, still got 3-axis Phantom Knight in my head. I've got Time Thief, Heraldic Beast, because this card came out. And also thinking of plant cards. Definitely haven't forgotten about plant cards. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Jonga5 at chaoticfactory.com. This has been Ryan on Jonga. Peace out, everyone. Thank you so much.